everybody. Welcome to FMA Talk Live. This is Datu Tim and my phenomenal co-host.
Hey, PG Ties here, everyone. Hey, hello.
Yeah. How does my sound sound?
It sounded. It didn't say. It hasn't sounded bad except for that one time a while ago. So it sounds good.
Okay, all right. Okay. People are messaging in. I already started. People wondering if the show was coming on tonight. Renee was like, "Hey, aren't you having a show tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, great! Yeah, he's gonna watch. He's gonna heckle me all night long. Yay, yay!"
Right.
But we love Renee. We love Renee.
Yeah.
So let's. So what did you do this weekend?
Well, I was out in Bryan, Texas. My friend Raymond Montoya. Remember, he's one of. He and I came up together under Remy. He had a camp, his yearly camp, and so I was there helping teach out some sessions, and I did Screama, Arnis, Modern Arnis, and Power Generation, of course.
Nice. And I mean, you had messaged me while you were down there. You were looking for the
curriculum, yes.
Current curriculum sheets. How'd that help out?
That helped a lot. There's like 3 or so groups that want to start working on that side of things, so they can have something to offer, which is exactly what that's for.
Exactly, and that's one of the things we talk about. And actually, on this week, I'll be on FMA Discussion talking about the future of modern Arnis with some of the second gen students, and I'm looking forward to just doing something. I'm going to talk about something that night that you know about what happened over the weekend, which we're not going to talk about over the show on my end. Dean knows about it because I'm also going to bring it up during the show and talk about how things can affect the future. But let me see here. Next weekend, I'm down in Maryland. I'm sitting on a Doce Pares testing board. That'll be fun. And I haven't seen Don Cuesta in probably a decade, and he's going to be one of the guest panel members, and he's doing a seminar afterwards. I'm not sure if I'll be part of it because that is also my wedding anniversary. So Janice and I are going down together, and then we're going to go off and do some things, and it'll be fun. It will be fun. So, but then the weekend after that, I am in St. Mary's, PA for a seminar. And then the 1st of March, I am doing I'm up in Canada again. So I want to talk about the next few shows before we start today's show. Tonight's show, well, we all know what it is, but we're going to announce it again in a moment. Next week's show is going to be about Vulpes training blades. A year later, they've had some new developments. We want to talk about that. The week after that, we're going to talk about either one of two things: what's in a name, or is it stupid to train stick fighting for self-defense? And then the week after that, the first weekend of March, first Monday of March, wait for it, here we go. Datu Kelly Warden will be on the show to talk about how modern Arnis started and spread in the Pacific Northwest. And who would have thought that we have a double Datu show? We've been trying. We've been invited other Datus, but this will be the first double Datu show.
Good deal. No, that's good. I've never trained with him except for online. But yeah, that'll be good.
So tonight, I think this is kind of a celebration, and I understand. So for those who don't know, FMA Talk didn't start as this podcast. We used to have a discussion board, and actually it was a spinoff of Martial Talk. And when I first started doing things, I started it all by myself. Well, actually, it was Bob Hubbard and I. Bob Hubbard did Martial Talk. He did the back of the house stuff. I did the front of the house stuff. And then it grew, and we started getting moderators, admins to help out and stuff like that. We spun off and did the same thing with FMA Talk, the discussion group. Same thing. And I was able to step back in both times, taking a completely different role. Tonight's show is about how Dean Franco is getting to that level with FMA Discussion and doing that same thing. Yeah. So I think it's a celebration. I think this is a great thing to celebrate, that it's actually becoming bigger than Dean himself. It's not just the machine. It's not just the Dean Franco show. He's becoming a CEO and having people do things with him. So it frees him up to do other stuff as well. So with no further ado, from all the way from the bitter west or east Connecticut, pretty bitter in Connecticut, cold, the host, the creator of FMA Discussion, Dean Franco. Otherwise, as the way the Americans would say it, would be Dean Franco. You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey,
I'm
welcome.
going to have fun moving people around here all over the place.
Yeah.
Because I can do that.
Like musical chairs.
There we go. Okay, you're in the middle. Okay.
So I thank you for having me on. Humbled and honored.
Not a problem. So Dean, I think this is a crazy cool thing because you've evolved the program or the FMA discussion where it's now becoming its own entity, so you can kind of like go CEO. So for those who so let's start off the bat. Bottom line, for those who haven't watched it, give us a 101 version of what is FMA discussion.
Okay, so basically late fall, kind of like is when it started. So I had the idea going into late summer, and so I basically, out of respect, reached out to Dwight Woods because at that point he was the only person I was seeing that was doing interviews via, at that point it was FMA Live. Facebook Live, sorry, when you could still bring guests on Facebook Live. And so he had interviewed me upon Burton Richardson's request. And I just thought it was really neat. And it just kind of clicked to me like there's a missing void as far as, nobody's covering Filipino martial arts. So I asked Dwight Woods. He said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So with his blessing, I started late, like the last week in October 2019, pre-COVID. And to get acclimated and hang of things, I kind of interviewed. My first interviews were first 4 were with my instructors just to get, my feet wet, know what I'm doing, and so forth. So that kicked it off. So I was only doing 1 a week then, and then when COVID kicked in, everything, as you guys know, shut down. So I was just kind of had all this time, and so hey, why don't I do 2 a week? Because names started coming in, referrals. So I started doing 2 a week, but it was still kind of slow then. And then things started picking up, I would say probably in the first 6 months. And the reason that is due because what I did was when I first started doing the interviews, I didn't have the group. The group was an afterthought. And basically, initially, I created the group. It's kind of as a library storage, if you will, where I put the videos there. But the group just started growing. And when it got to like 3,000, I was still a one-man show. Like I didn't have anybody. I just was getting overwhelming in that I found myself going in there and putting out fires, because I was a little bit naive. Oh, everybody will act accordingly. And respectfully, and most did, and most still do. But there was that element, of course, that was just, for whatever reason, ego or what have you. So I decided at that point to just like make a very lines that of like what's accepted, what's not. People started getting booted. I then got a couple moderators. And got the group under control, and now it's on autopilot essentially. I mean, I think we're close up to 12,000. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've had to remove somebody. People just know like when you go in there, just through us laying down the law, that it's people just know like this is not the group where you're just going to go in there and just start swearing or name calling, anything like that. So I really, the interviews are great and all that. But I pride myself just as much on the group etiquette as I do the interviews because people, a lot of times that's come out like, yeah, you can go to FMA discussion. It's not tolerated being attacked and all that. So that's significant to me and still is. So the group, so that came. Interviews started. I still, even though we kind of got out of the COVID or, the exposure wasn't bad or the shutdowns were over. I still continued the multi-interviews a week just because people were getting used to it. I was getting used to it. The list was growing. and to keep ahead of it and all that, we just kept, and that's when I brought Tom Paney on, who's been really instrumental as far as like the help doing the interviews. You know, he also does all the flyers. Right now, he's coordinated the big fundraiser for Moni Velez, and all that. So he's been incredibly instrumental, which is why, you know, he was a person I kind of, you could say, kind of handed over to, even though I'm still going to be there, but in a very much limited capacity. So that's kind of, you know, that's status quo. What led me to this decision was a bunch of reasons. One, it just was beginning to really take over other facets of my life. And I realize it more now that, you know, like I'm starting to cut back. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I've been doing this long and this much. You know, my kids are getting older. My son's really getting to BJJ. He went to beat the crap out of cancer and did 5 fights. So he needs more from me, as well as my daughter. My own training kind of took a back seat sometimes. I want to give more to my students. There's a couple projects, as you're well aware, Datu, that we're working on, or hopefully that will come through. So it was a multitude of reasons, and I was in a good place to do it. I mean, you know, COVID's over now, or hopefully over. It remains that way. So I'm in a good place now where I can have Tom, you know, run the majority of things, and I can really look to, you know, segue out and do other things. And one of those things being, you know, taking FMA discussion on the road and the projects that me and you talked about.
Well, let's get some of these guys here. So first of all, Joe Rebello says hello. Hi, folks. Glad to be here. Harold says hello from the Philippines. Pugai. Frank Shakowski.
Yeah, Frank.
Oh, and you know who's here.
Yep.
Yeah, a fart in the wind better than a fart in the elevator. Hello, gentlemen in Thai. Well, at least he's not picking on me this time.
That's right.
All right. Chad Bailey. Hello, gentlemen. Listening from Miami.
I'm sorry. Who was the comment before? Who was that before?
That's a heckler of ours. A fart in the wind. He's moldy pizza. He's moldy cheese. He's
that guy.
It's that guy.
I love that guy. He's funny, man.
So, May De Leon from the Philippines. Good morning from Manila, Pugai. Renee.
There we go.
The Canuck. Whatever. Shut up.
Hey, a big thank you. Also, I just want to make a quick. A big thank you to Renee for enabling us and allowing us to do the Beat the Crap Out of Cancers one in Connecticut. It went incredible.
Good.
We raised a bunch of money. It was, you know, and a big just appreciation to Renee.
Cool. So from the Philippines again, Billy Jewell, how you doing? We also have Chris LaCava from South Carolina.
Hey, just spoken to
and then Brian
he's coming on with the Bowie knife. I haven't forgotten, Brian.
Okay. And then Kurt
from Alaska,
From Alaska, we got Brian Rodriguez. We just talked about him, right?
He's also going to be helping in a lot now with Tom. So.
Sachi from New Jersey.
Who's that guy?
Joe Rebello, happy for FMA discussion.
Thank you,
and I am an enabler. Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. Okay. Okay, so now that we're caught up, you know, and listen, people, you know, and then Rich Jackson from Reno. Okay, so or Jacobson. So for those who don't know, even this show can be a I don't want to say a pain, but we got to be on point because it's very easy. Just one night a week. Sometimes it takes a lot for us to do this, and it's, you know, it's like, all right, I got to get the flyers done and all this other stuff, put the stuff up on, you know, and for those who've seen, like today, I had this one on point. Actually, I got the Kelly Warden one done first, which is in 4 weeks. Then I did yours. I still have to do next week's show for Vulpus Blades, and then I've got to do stuff. And like, you know, and I'm mildly dyslexic. I go, just one show a week. It's a pain in the butt. I mean, it's. I think it's well worth it. Oh, look at this. We have 31 people watching live.
That's
Awesome. 23 of them from Facebook. I wish there was all more YouTube, but that's okay. But the thing here is, it's definitely to me. I feel that it's worth the effort. But once again, you want to do a show right, and sometimes we don't have time to. Ty and I try to talk to each other a little bit. Hey, what do we want to do? Or sometimes, like when we're done with this, we'll be on here together for another hour and a half after everyone's signed off. I mean, Dean, I think you were on the show one time where we ended at 11. We didn't get done till 1 a.m. shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And then we got to recover from all that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. What it was? We got more here. So from MN, is that Minnesota?
I believe so. Yeah.
So fair warning, okay. Greg from Canada. Fart in the wind. The show can be a pain. You're welcome. This show can be a pain. You're welcome.
nice.
Yeah. Good evening, Steve. Ben from Steve here. I don't know, something it's a pain in the butt. It could be a hemorrhoid or lack of fiber. You see what I get? Do you have this kind of comments coming on your show?
No, but I would welcome them.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm really saying is, feel free to go over to FMA Discussion and leave us alone. But Sachi, content creator is definitely hard. And then hello.
He's actually Ventura's coming on. I got like some wrapping up interviews, so Tom could take over in March essentially. So I got like 3, I think, in a row this weekend. It's just the way it worked out. It's not by choice, but I'm only bringing it up because Ventura is one of them. He's coming on Friday night. Actually.
So Renee, question for Di: have you been tanning? Okay, and then wait. We can watch it on YouTube. Well, let me go do that. Yes, Joe, you can do that. And then he does not do YouTube Live. Okay. All right. So, So we talked about how it started, and now we've got some.
Yeah, how it started. My reasoning for kind of pulling back. I think the timing right now is, it's funny when I first did this. You gotta understand when I first started doing interviews. I had no idea where this is going to go. My first hope was that people will actually listen. I had no, like if you had told me, okay, you're going to have a group of 12,000, you'll get the 300 something interviews, you're going to create quick picks, you're going to take FMA Discussion on the road, you're going to have female moderators, this, that, and the other thing, you're going to do charitable events. I mean, I would have told you like way back then. No. So I had no really big aspirations other than, is anybody going to listen to me? And then when things start to evolve and grow, then during the COVID, I started thinking like, hey, things are building up. This could be bigger than just an interview platform. Yep. So then I started getting to thinking about, so my goal at that point was, yes, I want to take this on the road. But during the COVID, obviously that just wasn't happening. You know what I mean? So now that that's hopefully past us, that's something, and I think it's going to work out well. I really do. I hope it does. So that's a big reason there why I want Tom, because if I was doing that in conjunction with the amount of interviews I'm doing, the quick bits, I mean, there's just, there's no way I could feasibly just do all of that. But, the one thing I would like to, and Tom, I'm sorry, Brian Rodriguez, who's watching, is also going to be very instrumental in the future. What made us kind of unique is, okay, we interviewed people, that not being unique in sense, but we just didn't interview big names. I mean, we gave people opportunity that were never interviewed before, were never highlighted. So that was a big thing of ours. Also, we made a very concerted effort to get female practitioners on and interview them, and we still do that. Then, having a group parallel what we represent in our interviews, then we went into theme episodes where, we would highlight systems like much why you're coming on Thursday night. That would fall into Brother of our theme episodes. The whole charities we do. Not only do we give all the money from the channel to charities, we sponsor charities like we're doing right now for GM Velez. And there, folks come to us. Hey, can we get this going? Because they know where our heart is, they know what we represent, and they know we'll get it done. You know what I mean? Because of our track record, and that comes from the whole group, not just me, Tom Pena, Brian, Martin, and Lori and Aubrey. And the other thing is the quick fix, where we get people to highlight the material. Like I know for absolute fact, people have done these quick fix and they've sold some of their material. People have gone on it, liked it, reached out to them, so indirectly we've helped people monetarily in that regard. Okay. Next thing is we're working with, a big thank you to Renee, to beat the crap out of cancer. I mean, I would love to do it a few times a year. I just think it's a great event, and FMA Discussion is going to push it, with Renee's blessing, and then taking FMA Discussion on the road. Brian Rodriguez wants to do a Filipino cooking show in conjunction with interviews. So you might have a guy while he's interviewing and doing a Filipino cooking show. His wife is Filipino. And two others I can't speak on yet. And that me and Datu. But that's what I feel that's made us unique. And the thing I want to really tell people, not just me, the whole group, Tom Payne, none of us are making a dime from this. It is completely selfless, our time. We're doing it for the love and all that. Matter of fact, I'm actually losing money because I pay for Be Live. You know what I mean? So we do this out of our heart and just the will to want to see FMA grow and succeed, just our beloved art. So, and again, it's the whole team.
Okay, cool. Hey, let's get caught up. So right off the bat, this is Matt Jones. Are there more than 6 Datu tribes? Is it reasonable to believe that there should be a Datu per tribe? Just thinking out loud. So Remy Price is awarded 6 people the title of Datu. As far as people who are promoting modern right now, there's only 3 of us who are aggressively or who are actively promoting modern. But there was only 6. So when I talk about that right now, you got Datu. No particular. You got Dieter in Germany. You got Kelly Warden on the West Coast. You got me over here. Shashir is doing stuff, but he's more promoting our niche sport. He's not promoting the art per se in that aspect. He's doing a lot of personal appearance and getting into, like I said, it's different. Now, here we go. Renee, some modernist peeps fought at the gathering. Vancouver this past weekend. Let's restate that. A couple of our people fought this. Once again, that's our group fights, and I don't put us in the whole thing with modern, but that's another topic because we don't want to give modern. Well, some people ride the coattails of the phrase modernities, but that's another story. I had a rough weekend. We'll just say that. Greetings from Portland. Eric, you got here early. That shocks the hell out of me. Usually he's logging in when we're taking off. He must not have gone to the gym today, or he went early so he could be with the show. Good viewer. There we go. Chris, Dean Franco, it was good seeing you on the road in Florida the other weekend.
Yeah, same here, Chris.
Hello from London. Mabjol, how would you pronounce that? Mabjol High?
Mabjol, yeah.
Okay, Sanchi. I really appreciate the charities and the raffles. There we go. George Harris, one of my guys. Hey, guys, just a quick drive-by saying hi. Thanks, Dean from Sachi. Renee, what about the Dean Franco what is that? Mark Kame channel? Or am I not supposed to say anything? Okay. And Elroll.
There's a guy whose event coming up with Guru Errol. So
Errol, is that the group that's? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I thought it was. Okay. I see we chat, and it's a lot of it's through their Instagram profile. So
Yeah.
slightly different name there, if I'm not mistaken. Kurt, having a live discussion like this are great resources for networking. It is so informative. The Marshall Media podcast was a great podcast, but no longer active. So thank you all who put in the work and provide these. You're welcome, sir. So Dean Franco, how does someone get on the show? There's a fee on that, and we can't really talk about that. The seventh Datu was Datu Puti. That was the first Datu. I am Datu Puti. Look at the white hair.
London, yes.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And of course Jersey. Yep. Yep. So I'm. Yeah. So
Joe asked how to get on the show. I mean, if you want, we can cover that.
Yeah.
So
it's not Jersey. It's not New Jersey. It's just Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. Yeah, you can only say that. You can only say that if you live in Jersey, I guess.
Jersey.
But really, you just long as you have an FMA relevance, or you can bridge the gap to FMA, we welcome everybody on the show. So, GM Joe, I know you mentioned you want to come on. Absolutely, I haven't forgot about you. It'll probably be Tom, as I'm reducing my role, but you're more than welcome to come on. Absolutely.
Okay, well, here we go. So Renee said it cost him $200 to get on Dean's show. That was probably a quarter US with the exchange rate. That's like $200. Tell Joe he gets on the show after Pizza Fart Pizza does. Well, we'd love to see you on the. We offered you to be on our show, but and then 100. Yep, there we go. All right. Better than Dato Puto. And then Dexter James, Dean Franco, big fan for what you've done for the community. How does Piper compare to FMA?
Oh,
I got nothing from
answer that
Brian.
if you guys want me to. Piper really doesn't compare. I think better is contrast. It can complement FMA, and FMA can complement Piper. However, Piper is really based on the ambush methodology, heavily thrusting oriented, reverse grip, from a criminal element, even though we don't embrace that, but we do acknowledge it. And so Piper is based on deception, nonlinear movements, and that where there's really no drills. Is basically you take these tactics and you kind of put them together and you form who you are in Piper. And there, yes, you can let your past bleed through, as long as it's not a hostile takeover to Piper. In other words, for example, if you had a Taekwondo background, you're throwing in spinning kicks, that's probably not the best blend with Piper. For example, however, you have Thai boxing background, well, now your elbows and knees, that's going to blend nicely to when you get in there. So obviously a very close range oriented system. No, not a non-dueling sparring, although you can. There is, some say there was back in the day. I can't really speak on that. I can only share with you what's been shared with me. But definitely different from FMA, but can complement one another. Hopefully that answered.
Cool. All right, let's get a few more comments here. So Chris True, the man, the myth, the legend, Dean Franco.
Oh, Chris.
Great.
Actually, when I got you guys, I'm going to need a profile pic from you, Chris, and what is a good test run before we go live Thursday night at 8:30. So whatever works for you guys for a test run, and we'll have to find out with Noah. So handling interview business.
That's right.
I can't get away from it.
Bleeds everywhere, right? But no, that's a good problem to have. Right? It means what you did is mattering, which you knew, but it's good.
I tell you, there's a fine young man, Chris Chu, man.
Okay.
We need more like him.
Great to see Modernice at the gathering. Okay. Hey, Dr. Tim and PG gentlemen, how you doing? Well, doing well. We'll be on the show Thursday together.
That's a fine young man right there. Bruce did well.
Then Carl, how you doing, Carl from Canada? Mark Medeiros, another Canadian.
Yeah.
Run, get it over. There you go. And then I learned martial arts so I don't have to run. There we go.
Guy's funny, man. Man, if you can only, I tell you, there's money to pay for. Who is that guy? You could actually put a.
Oh, okay, there he is. Okay. Okay, it was there. Okay. Okay, so we got the idea that for those who weren't here, we talked about how we got there. Why does he really want? I really want to see Tim rant about modern Anise and the gatherings. It's simple. Modern Anise people don't support the gatherings. Tim Hartman's people support the gatherings. We're Praesis Arnis, part of that community, but this community is not supporting it. It's individuals. Just like when we talked about how there's a whole shitload of modern Anise groups in Toronto when you do your events, and none of them support you, but Hartman's group does. But that's another story. Okay, there's my rant. You make you feel better? Renee was just waiting for it. Okay, I put a bounty. Okay, I put a bounty on my head of paper towels so it doesn't. Okay. All right. So, anyways, we talked about how it started.
Yeah. So talking about
how
it
grew. We've talked about how it is doing things for people who are less fortunate, which is always good. People in need, because you like helping out children's organizations and stuff like that in the Philippines, right?
I have a weakness, for anything charities that involve children. However, though, we have definitely done and also for our older masters who are getting ill or sick. To me, I love that as well. But if you look at the majority of our charities or where we donated, they were definitely, the majority of them were children related.
Okay. Prustu, I'll message you, Dean, about the test run. What time do you think?
A profile pic, Chris.
That's what needs a profile. It doesn't need. Don't worry about the test run. Get him the pic. Did that other kid get you a pic yet?
I'm gonna message him tonight. Yeah.
Okay, and then I want to support. Buy a cup. Okay, if you want us to get support, buy a cup. Okay, got it. And then Dean taught fantastic classes at my progressive camp.
Well, that's very kind of you.
How much did you pay him to say that?
Well, that's between. Well, you can't believe what I'm offering Chad. I mean, he's gonna be part of one of the Miami FMA discussion down there. So yeah, I've been giving Chad a lot to say nice things. I just want to say though, Chad runs a wonderful, non-egotistical, welcoming camp. He really does. He gets all walks of life in there, and I said this before and I say it again. I think he is a model for camps. I mean, I'm not saying I've been to a plethora of them, but the ones I have been to, I mean, he just does it well. He really, really does, and he deserves credit for that.
Okay, so Renee says you should get Mark Medeiros on your show. Dude is solid. And then, as Brian says, $20 is $20.
That's it. Mark's name's come up, I believe.
That's a boudoir person.
Yeah, a couple of boudoir guys have come up for sure. We did have Justin on. We're trying to get Steve Dinamo on. I think Mark's name came up via Martin up there. So yeah, I mean, the names definitely has come up.
Okay. So, why does that? Okay. I'm looking at a couple things here. And then Adam says hello. And that's from Detroit. And then, and Tim, you should get Ty on the show. Yeah, I was thinking about getting Ty on the show.
Geez, you really should.
Dean, thank you, Dean. It was great to have Chris and Nelson as well.
Absolutely.
Dean's swords stand behind looks a little weak, only 3 swords.
It is a little weak, Adam. What happened was when I had them all up there, it started coming off the wall, and I've been so busy with everything. See, one of the things I'm going to do now that I'm not doing so many interviews is
fix your sword rack.
Get a better rack.
He can afford he can afford to buy all those swords, but not the right kind of screw to put it in the wall.
I'm
Because
telling
the
you.
swords probably were overpriced, but that's okay. Nathan Porter gives you a thumbs up. And then here we go. If you have a rubber chicken and a camera, LOL.
That's all you need, Kurt. You know, did you guys see his video? That's pretty funny.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we may have covered this. So I think it already has. So hold on here. Hold on. I always invest in a good rack. LOL. My ex. Yes, there we go.
That guy killed me.
Yeah, he does. And you know, so we've talked about, like, one of the things that you do that's a little different, that makes you different specifically, is that you are doing things for charitable acts. Is there anything else that makes FMA Discussion unique?
Well, I mean, again, obviously donating all the money that we receive from the channel. I'm not saying it's a ton of money, but whatever we do get, it's all donated. We don't keep any of it. I mean, we were the first, we made females moderators. Obviously, we better concerted effort getting females on, and we still do that. It's been challenging. We want them on. It's just some of them are reluctant to come on, to be quite honest. And so that's why we got 2 female moderators, because we thought that they would see that example setting of incorporating females as moderators, and hopefully that would entice more females to come on the show. But it's been challenging, to say the least. But we're not quitting. We're still going to keep at it, trying to get them on.
I find that with not just women, the men as well. We've invited a lot of people on the show, and some people have made some comments. At the end of the day, if people want to be on the show, they'd be on the show. People wanted to work out and lose weight, they would work out and lose weight. There's a lot of objections, and it starts with that person themselves. And we've offered the same thing. I haven't gone out of my way to invite women. I've gone out of my way to invite what I consider top tier people who also happen to be women. If I could have 2 equally qualified people, of course I'm going to go for diversity, because I don't want to. I mean, the problem with this, obviously, is that our industry happens to be male chauvinistic, it's male dominated, which
it's male driven.
Get the chauvinistic thing going on.
Yeah.
When I do teaching, I'm always bringing up women and children to help me demonstrate, because any female that's willing to train, we want to encourage that and show that we can. It's not always the guys that are doing this. I mean, and I got this phenomenal. I mean, when I had Shia on recently, here's a phenomenal young woman, 12 years old, rocking it. And I'll bring her up. I taught Hubud one day to the class, and she did. We rocked Hubud, and it was the first time she ever did it. And it's just like, here, just go like this, and boom. So I took her up because I know I didn't bring her because she's a female. That was that bonus thing. But people in general, I could give you a list of people who I get along with, who I've invited on the show, that really don't.
With us, with females, like we've only had a few males say no to our show. It's been significantly more females, but much to your point, I mean, some people are just reluctant to come on.
It's also a small percentile and to begin with. So all right, let me see here. Let me see. Did I get that?
We need to
have Kurt on the show. Okay.
Sure.
Still trying to get you to a camp, Ty.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, son of a plantain.
Next year. Right. Go down with me next year.
Dean says, I'll kill him, and Datu wants to kill him.
Must be a different comment.
Me. Okay. Kill me. Okay. All right. On a serious note, the connection between FMA Discussion facilitates is just amazing. Dean has brought more FMA folks together than the free beer side. Okay, agreed.
You guys don't want to know how much I paid Brian to say that. So
I'm not even going to bother.
You give him a free beer?
That the best thing about FMA Discussion is that you will talk to anyone, regardless
Absolutely.
creed, background, lineage, whatever.
Chris
is
couldn't
true
say it
community
better right there.
I'm
You know what?
gonna comment about that. Let me just get Adams here. I think it's also its bane at the same time. I love to be a guest on the podcast. I only have I was one of few who benefit black belt. We need to focus more on martial art black belts who do not go to college. Okay. Okay. And he's got modern East lineage in him.
Anybody, I tell you, as long as you're not, Chris Chu just nailed it. I mean, if you were to go down on our YouTube channel and look down our list and look how we interviewed, there are a lot of non-big names on there, and that's one of the things I wanted to focus on when I started the channel. Yes, you need big names for momentum. I'm not going to deny that. I obviously did that. I brought my teachers on first to get the wheels going. But if you look at a lot of our guests beyond, they were not big names,
right.
And we stand behind that, which tells you something about us. It wasn't about the views or the likes with us. I mean, we've had, we've had some folks on that have big names, and they weren't the most popular shows. But you know what? We stuck true to our intentions about exposing the non-big name people, to give them some light, to give them a platform to be heard. And that's one of the things I'm most proud of, is that we weren't just searching for big name people.
Okay. And then Renee goes, shit, I was on the show. And so the standards are not
well, geez, I mean, do I need to say
I'm not gonna say it, Renee. We're gonna let that one by. That was so low yield, it's when the slow ball comes up, sometimes it's a little too slow to swing at it. So, and actually, so I'm going to go on the other side of things. And I don't want to say it was his bane. It would be people's bane if they didn't know what they were talking about. Here's the thing. If you listen to the shows, a lot of people gave away everything.
When you say everything, what do you mean?
They told you the good and the bad, and they don't even know it. There's so many people out there who I think in many ways expose themselves as charlatans and frauds.
Here's the thing, though. And this goes along with me. Okay, so this is going to parallel something. And so I guess we can maybe touch upon some of the ugly. Or, well, I don't want to say bad. Let's use ugly. In the beginning, obviously, I'm naive at heart. And so there are definitely some people that came on. Now, have we been used? You bet your butt we've been used. I can tell you exact incidents where FMA Discussion's been used, and nothing reciprocated. Not that we were looking for that, but been used.
Well, if people promise things and don't,
nothing promised. It's just that their intentions weren't at heart. Okay, but they were used because of our brand name and knowing that our message goes out to a lot of people, in the group being close to 12,000. That's why we were used. And so, but the thing is, at first you look at it and it's kind of stings. But then I said, you know what? Then I looked to the positive of it. I said, look, they chose what you created, even though you're being used, but they chose you because obviously you're doing something right. So I kind of flipped the switch with that and turned the negative into a positive outlook. But getting back to the point of me being naive, yes, there are folks that have come on. In the beginning, I took for what they said, truth and all that. And then you get the subsequent interviews that kind of prove it's wrong, or the subsequent messages after the interview come flooding in, and that's not true what he said, this, that, and all that. And I simply tell these folks, a couple of them were pretty mad. And I tell these folks, I said, look, I want to offer you to come on and you can set the record straight. A couple of them didn't do that. Okay. Secondly, my further explanation was, you have to understand, I'm bringing these folks on. I'm assuming they're going to present integrity to the best of their ability, as far as their memory, and that as far as citing events chronologically and with some truth and what have you. However, though, I cannot control what they're going to say that's true or not. I can't. Right. You know what I mean? And there's a, so a couple of folks said, well, you got to do more background checks. I go, first of all, I do, but that doesn't mean just because I look at their background or their resume, that's going to substantiate or be the all, just, deciphering aspect to
let's
determine
talk
whether
about
it's
that real
true.
quick. That is the community's responsibility. So here's okay. So, all right. When we first reached out, I had no intention of being part of the show. I didn't know you. But when I reached out to you, and then tell me if I got this right, I asked you if it was on a podcast format because I didn't want to listen to it on YouTube when I was
Yes, you
driving
did.
my car.
Yes. And my reply with you was, because I'm always very polite when people message. I said, no, it's from the road up. We're thinking about that, and we did think about that. It was just one more thing I would have to do is just like.
And during that conversation, you had asked me if I'd want to be part of the show. I never talked about being on the show.
No, I just said, hey, wow, you reached out to me. Yeah. Why don't I use this opportunity to see if you'll come on?
And things happen. I mean, and we talked about that. I listened to the podcasts specifically about the Modern East, and the people got a lot of facts right. They also got some facts wrong. I checked out some of the information. Turned out some of my information was actually, I want to say wrong. We had one topic in particular, and both people were close, but not completely accurate. And they're like, all right, well, we got the right state, we got the wrong year. I had the right year, they had the wrong state. I had the wrong state, but I had the right year, and vice versa.
Oh, the camp, West Virginia.
Yeah. So, hey,
to me, that's
no, but that was good, because it helped me get my facts straight.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's
some major violations, man.
What?
I can't think of a better word.
I know that, yeah. But here's the thing. If people, so what I did is every time there's a Modern East interview, I listen to it because I want to make sure if the facts are right. Maybe my facts are wrong. Maybe they have a story that I don't have access to. We talked about when you and I did the years of Modern East.
Yeah.
And Dave Foggy came on, and I had never discussed this. I'd heard that Roland Dantes, the bodybuilder, the actor, was sent to kill Remy, and I'd heard. I'm like, yeah, that's got to be bullshit. Not only was it correct, but Remy, this was one of Remy's students. He was the one that took Remy to the airport to make sure he got safely out of the country. Now that's a thing I didn't have, and if we wouldn't do shows like this, there's stories and things like that I wouldn't have access to. Now the people who are watching say that you can't vet everybody. You're not okay. Once again, the three of us are doing this right now. None of us are getting paid directly from doing this, are we? So you guys better send good checks. But the thing here is, it's not our job to vet people. We give people this opportunity, and if this information is so important, make sure you're listening to the show when it happens, so you can chime in and say, hey. Because I've been in a room with a whole bunch of people, and I know the story changed after I got there.
Or come on the show and respectfully debunk what you heard.
Yeah. So let's go in here. Was talk about your show, Datu, but Dean too. Okay, yeah. I am on a quest to show students and parents why we need to earn their black belts. We are not sports. We are not a sport. No off season. I've never heard anyone say baseball saved their life unless they hit with a bat. Now I will say this: there's a lot of activities out there that have saved people's lives. People wouldn't have gotten out of the environment if it wasn't for baseball, soccer. So I understand what you're saying, that the physical activity wasn't used in a self-defense scenario, but you can't say that other sports. And here's the thing. So this is the lesson for all of us. When people do other activities, because we're going to do that, you got to understand martial arts, we don't sit on a bench. We may wait our turn because, like let's say we're doing the competition or something like that. We can't all do the form simultaneously. Maybe we're waiting to get on the heavy bag and get our turn on something, but we're not sitting on the bench waiting to see if the coach will put us in. We all participate equally, and that's a good thing. Shit, I'm even on there, Brian. There's a lot of self-deprecation going on here, which is cool. It actually just takes my shots away from this. I talk like Bane. I was born in the dark, Batman. You know, it's funny. So one of my kids today, the father, Janice starts laughing her ass off. I'm like, what's going on? Come here, Tim. Oh, I come up there, and one of the fathers are there, and I've got a 6-year-old who just graduated into my junior class because he's been around since he was 4, and he's ready. I'm like, okay. I'm like, the dad goes, you know, I keep hearing him say Datu, Datu, Datu. Well, he's playing with his action figures, so one of them's Datu. Okay. And then the other, I goes, he's playing with Batman. I go, so, hey, Julian, so who would win, Datu or Batman? Pfft, Dad, of course Datu. That's the stuff that makes us cool for the day. So, but that Batman comment's pretty cool there. Ugly when I was born and slapped my mom, and they slapped my mom. Okay, I get it. I get that. But please, for the love of God, get my Frank Stukes on. All right. Boom. If people bet their butts, I don't want to know the collection process. Okay. All right. Daryl Rich said, man, Terrell, I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah.
Been off. I've been seeing some posts, but usually he would like send me a message, go, hey, what's going on? And then Joe Friday. Just the facts, man. Okay, here we go. Alvin, hello, gentlemen. How you doing,
there's
sir?
a guy we're
Watching
trying to
from
get on.
Francisco, the Bay Area. Okay, here we go. I think when it comes to the history and stories, there's 3 sides. His, hers, and the actual what happened. We talk about that a lot. Yours, mine, and the truth. That's why we need as many stories as possible. And this is, you know, having come up with a martial arts or a law enforcement family, you know, I'm always about getting as many different inputs as possible because, you know, someone may leave something out from a different thing. And that's my interview side. I think that's why Frank thought I was like going off on him. I'm just trying to get just about the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
You mean you were interrogating him?
Yes, when getting mugged, I should say. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, sorry, it's a Detroit. LOL. It is Detroit. How does a 12-year-old girl? Okay, how is that a 12-year-old girl has been doing FMA studies with Datu?
They're just asking how has she been?
Oh, been doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta get new glasses. This suck. Shia's amazing. She started with me when she was 3.5 years old, and she keeps going strong. And she's gonna get back. She used to mentor some of the younger kids, and now she's getting back into that. Been busy teaching on Monday nights, recovering from my heart attack. Yeah, that happened recently, which I don't share. So since you shared it, that's fine.
Oh, there's a good question from.
Okay, what has been your favorite episode of all shows besides when Ty and I show up?
That's right.
All right. Well, okay. Besides that, okay. So ones that like really stood out. I mean, God, there's been so many, and you know, and I'm not saying just to say this. When I bring a guest on, I put my heart and soul in the interview.
Yeah.
I want them to have a great experience. So they're all special to me. But obviously, there's some that just, whether the audience just made incredible comments, or they really resonated with the audience, or just, you know, stuff of that nature. The one that stick out at the top of my head, Maya killed it.
Okay.
Sold her home.
Yeah.
She was really good. Who else? Off the top of my head, that just really knocked it out of the park. You know, when GM Poggi came on, it was satirical, but yet there was an irony to the episode. That was a standout. Some of the KI themes, I thought the episodes really, it was really a learning experience. Something, you know, that I got out of it. So those stand out. Tim Wade, you know, when Tim Wade and Ferd came on, they rocked it. You know, even though PTK is not my style and all that, but they just did a really good job in concert together. Those two, yeah. Who else I could think of? His name's escaping me. again, he's an unknown, but what he spoke on was incredible. Tom Sotis, Darren Friesen, just the way they explain methodology and context and their books. Those guys were special. Who else? My God, well, I'm thinking about this because there are more, and I'm going to look through it because I don't want to leave my answer there. However, though, I want to go back to another subject on the ugly because I want people to know basically kind of some of the things we go through as a team and a channel that doesn't make the headlines, and that is there. Yes, it's been a wonderful experience, but there's been passive aggressive behavior towards us, me in particular. I've never said this before. I'll say it now, but with parts of the community, because and Bert, I was telling Burton this. I'm like, gosh, matter of fact, this was just a month ago. I'm like, I'm so discouraged. I get so discouraged at times because why? I'm like, just the passive aggressiveness. I go, it's like, I'm not getting paid for this, but people just got to be nasty or just, they won't say it to you, but you hear about it or the way they act. And Burton said something that will probably stay with me. And he goes, Dean, because what you're doing is phenomenal. It's going to be in the history books. They always tackle the guy with the ball.
Yeah. Rem used to always say, the better you do, the louder the dogs will bark.
It just was like.
Well, the thing here is people suck at the end of the day.
Sometimes they do.
What it is. Here's the problem. Martial arts.
Sometimes they do.
Here it is. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Here's the deal. You take martial arts, which is supposed to improve your character and help with confidence, and take a bunch of insecure little babies and turn them into egotistical, insecure maniacs. Because at the end of the day, if there was a problem, they should just be able to say it. Now, we've talked. People don't like what we say at times. We are more than happy to have people on our show for a dialogue, not a monologue. I am more than happy to explain my point. But here's the sad thing. We talked about this recently. How come you can talk about food, and if you don't like Italian food, if you don't like Chinese food, if you don't like German food, it's okay. But when we talk about martial arts, religion, and politics, people go crazy. And the thing here is like, and I get why some of the students get on it, because if you say something that takes a shot at their teacher, and I'm not even trying to say you're taking a shot, but let's say we talk about something that, I don't know. Let me see. What's a good one? Okay. We can talk about how somebody in the modernist community stole my logo. And the person admitted to using my logo. And if we brought that up in front of a student, the student, now I wouldn't bring it up, but if it came up and someone was talking about this, the student gets upset because this person's ethics falls on them. If we talk about someone was more of a YouTube black belt, and this guy put a lot of time and effort in, the teacher, whatever happens on the teacher, if it comes out that he's a charlatan, whatever, it goes back on them. And I remember somebody tried to claim to be the Arnis coordinator for the movie The Pacific Connection. That's the movie Remy did. I'm sitting in a Canadian Arnis group's house. We're all watching the video, and they do their credits at the beginning of the movies, and it goes Arnis coordinator Remy Pracis, and all of a sudden shit went sideways the rest of that day, and I'm like, you said, not me, your teacher. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. But when you say something that potentially sheds a little negativity on their teacher, it goes on them as well, and they can't understand that whatever happened with that teacher shouldn't have anything to do with them. They can separate, they can go another way, but that okay. All right, here we go. Let me see here. Thanks, Dean, to Maji. I was in the top 7. let's get back. What do you mean about America House? And Terrell, if you want to come on the show for a short bit on that, I mean, let's talk about that. Listen, and here's the thing: this person shouldn't get upset. Listen, because of course you're not his top favorite. Your video kept breaking up because you had poor ass South Carolina internet connections.
Okay, right now I'm just.
Chris LaCava says he's hurt now. And anyways, if you've ever watched the show, who's got better chemistry with Dean than the three of us? I mean, come on, think about this.
No, I can't argue that.
I'm not talking about the quality.
No. As far as chemistry, no, I definitely get your point. As far as chemistry, I
couldn't. Last when you're on our show,
I can't dispute that.
And when I
got some more names to Joe's question because I wasn't satisfied ending there.
Okay.
Here's a guy that nobody really knows about, but I tell you what he spoke on. He's from Australia, Dean Lawler.
Never heard of him. I'm going to
Yeah,
watch
what I
the
mean? But he just and this is obviously personal. Somebody could have watched the show and been like, man, that sucked. But just some of a lot of things he was speaking on just really resonated with me. I just thought he, the other, Brian Canada, when I had him on, a guy that just kept it, you just who you see is what you get. You know what I mean? Like just, there was a purity in him when he, is kind of the best way I can articulate it. Like, he wasn't trying to show or prove anything. He's coming back on. He's going to do the Bowie knife, which I'm looking forward to with him. And he's somebody that I'm really hoping to get to touch hands with one day. Anthony DeSaro, man, there's another guy who's not really known, but when he came on, there was just such a honesty, like yes. Like, yeah, and guys like that resonate with me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you're a huge name. Like, I'm just gonna be honest here. I've had some big names on this show, and you know what? They were some of the more boring episodes. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy them. It doesn't mean that, I didn't get something out of it. I'm just saying, though, in compare and contrast to some of the folks that are lesser known. But you know how this goes. This is obviously a very individual, opinionated thing. Some guys, they drool over when the big names come on. And I forget, I think when I had, when I had Doug Marqueta on, I can't tell you how many comments and the views were on there. I mean, just blockbuster. You know what I mean? And Doug presented well. 100% presented well. I mean, absolutely. You know what I mean? But there are guys, in my opinion, that know where the name that, in my opinion, killed it. Mark Hollick. I thought he was really neat having on.
Those ones that have the visceral honesty or truth with them because they're just them and nothing to prove. Those are my favorite folks.
Anthony DeSaro emulated that.
Well, people should feel Anthony. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Anthony who?
DeSaro.
Oh, Anthony. The problem here is when you are at a certain tier, I think people feel the need to put on a facade.
It could be.
And personally, I'm like, screw that. Let's just be me. I mean, I think the thing here is
no argument here. Yeah.
We've been together, all three of us, doing different martial art things and here and there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I've always felt that the genuine people are better received.
My book, yes. Oh, another one?
Whom?
Elric Jundas.
Okay.
Elric Jundas.
I used to communicate without. I've never met him. We've had a bunch of dialogues, but usually it was about the USFMAF back in the day.
That guy, the history, knowing about blades and difference. I mean, just
he's also a Jedi.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So Robert Guida, hi guys. Fartlek, we got to get
well. That answer, Joe.
What?
No, I'm just Louis Lindo.
Okay, Louis Lindo. We'll come back and do a few more. Let me just get caught up in these comments. Dean, that reminds me of a song. Here we go. You be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta be wiser.
Yeah. Look at that.
Gotta be Desiree. Then Dan says, hi, guys. Cool.
Oh, hey, Dan. There's a good guy.
Okay, then cults, religion, and martial arts are the biggest difference between religion and being tax. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what you got, Jesse. Probably a heart. Jesse throws that up because Hartman from the Philippines. Heart. Okay, whatever. Craig Mason, who just got back from the Canadian gathering up in Vancouver. Renee, also Dean, keep doing what you're doing, and F those F. I must be fan those.
Yeah.
Those other people, empty cans make the most amount of noise when you rattle them. There we go.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice, Renee.
Okay.
Nice.
Dean looks a bit blurry. Yeah. You go. Can he fix the sharpness on his camera? Thanks.
He didn't wash his face today.
We were going for something more like this. Actually, that's what the look we wanted.
People are sick of that.
This is what we got stuck with.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not. It's on. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Maybe
sure.
Are you
Could
using
be focusing
camera
somewhere weird.
No, I'm using an external one, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Probably pinged on something else to focus.
Yeah. Okay. So, someone get me preparation H for Chris LaCava. LOL. Love Chris. He had funny 2 question segment. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a love you too, Joe. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
All right. I got more names.
Killed it. Doug killed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. People were dying. People were dying over that one, man. They were just.
And we appreciate all 3 of you gentlemen being yourselves. Patrick.
There's a good guy from California, Patrick.
Renee, it's blurred because the shine is coming off Ty.
There you go.
See, we.
Ty, can you put a hat on?
And then, hey, wait a minute. This is my brother here, Mal Morney.
Hey,
how you doing, Mal?
Mm.
What part of the world are you in at the moment? Are you still in England? I'm going to be over there in August.
Selamat datang.
Okay, guys, I got a couple more names. David Hines. Older guy.
Yeah, run a tab on this. It's $20 a name, Ty.
There you go.
Yeah. Harlan Stanford was another one.
I bet. Yeah.
And Dax Williams up in Canada. He just was funny. He you know what it was? He was truthful, but he had a very funny way about his answers and all that. So it was informative, educational, but amusing all at the same time. So yeah, you know what too? Same thing with Renee. It was like Renee's. It was funny having on, but you know what? And I have Renee on this list. When he came on, like he was so truthful about like when he goes over, teaches over there, I believe in the Netherlands, and how he gets so nervous. Like I like guys like that who are just truthful. Like they don't go, yeah, I went in there and I killed it. I had 200 folks to teach on a beach, and I didn't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And then he's telling that you might have to go to Spain and do these 15 1-minute rounds against people. And then he's talking about how he doesn't like because of his family. I just appreciate guys like that where they're true. You know what I mean? There's, you get a good feeling from them. They're not trying to put up a facade or trying to be something they're not. So guys like that, those are the guys that really resonated with me on the show. If they came across brash and all that, you would never know by my face, but doesn't mean, man, I was digging the whole interview.
Right. Well, I noticed one of the things I was going to say is I think people don't realize that if okay, here's a way to look at things. If you're teaching a lot, and even, I don't care how much you teach, if you're teaching people that have no reason to know you or might have some other preconceptions or whatever, and you're teaching to those folks, and that makes you not nervous, whatever. But the point is, you're going to be paying attention to that, and it's going to be different than teaching to family. You teach to family, you don't get the same out of that. So putting yourself out there, that's to be applauded.
It's true. Yeah. So, I mean, there's more. I'm trying to look and come up, but obviously, as far as group shows, you guys, the chemistry with you guys, as Datu mentioned, obviously goes without saying. Steve Grody, I think I mentioned him already. Steve Grody's special on me. I just think he's so unsung and he doesn't put himself out there, and he really should, because that guy's stuff is just incredible. His Lameko and just his take on attribute development. But there's a bunch, but I'm just making sure I didn't miss it. What's funny? I'm gonna get off. When this is over, of course.
You're gonna think of 24.
I'm telling you, all these names are gonna come to me.
Right.
And you know what I mean? But it was
that
a great.
reminds me, we were gonna do a show, and I don't know how to do this, but you do a show on the unsung, the unknowns that are, you really got to go find them. But the thing is, no matter even as many people as you all see, we don't see all of those. So how are we gonna call attention to those? I think maybe I would encourage people to keep an eye out for those, right? Keep an open mind and just see. There's some great stuff. It might be next door. You would never know it.
Yeah, and this is why from time to time, sometimes I forget with everything going on, but I try to make a point during the week to post past episodes. So for folks that maybe missed these gems and didn't get to see them, we'll see them. Some of the theme episodes were incredible, like the Four Fathers. I mean, that was incredible. Just the information and history that came out of that episode. Folks, if you want to know what I'm referring to, episode 90, a wealth of information came out of that episode. Just unbelievable.
You don't have them all memorized in your head, do you?
No, my God, I'd be some. I tell you, I wouldn't be here, man. I'd be getting paid by NASA or something.
So I feel bad because I wish I'd watched all of them, but I to be honest, right, there's no way I could watch all of them. So I depend on people, to let me know which ones are, I definitely have to check out.
Yeah, and I don't, obviously, of course,
and I try to support, whichever, when I can, but it's not the same.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, there's I'm just, but. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to start like I was doing. I kind of forgot this week or last week, I should say, but posting like some of the past episodes so folks can see. I would just kind of pull numbers out and
like an index.
Mark Denny was a big one.
I bet.
Episode 163. People really dug that. Yeah.
Someone said that we should avoid episode 354.
354.
It's in the comments.
Here we go. All right, let me see. So Bunai is where Dean or where Maul is. The Kelly Warden interview was a good one.
That was a good one. Yep, you're right.
There was multiple ones, so it's kind of hard to know which one we're talking about. But
Brian's correct. Datu, that was a good one.
I once killed a dragon. Thank God I had a plunger. Okay. Is there a Grand Datu or Grand Supreme? I mean, it's called Tim. It's like the Mighty Wizard Tim. So there you go. Usually has black olives on it. The Super Supreme.
There you go.
Dean Franco, thank you for mentioning about the diversity of the guests you enjoyed interviewing.
Yes.
Here we go. Kara, hey, how back in MA, Massachusetts. Here learned a lot of cool things from FMA discussion interviews. You got a non-FMAer to want to get involved in doing this. The themes were books reviews. I thought it was because of all the damn seminars I taught you.
We did the episodes with Dragon doing we did a book review. Those were good ones. Thank you. Oh, episode 55 with Growling Dog Renee.
That one we have to abort that one.
Yeah,
that's right.
Earth. There's a good one.
There's another idea. Did you ever think of putting together a show? I know you got all this free time now that you've got other people doing the interviews. Maybe a bloopers show and a highlights show. Right, you can just go through and just what are your favorite, or even a Dean's favorites, Dean favorite snippets, something like that. That would be a lot of fun because you having seen all of these folks and making connections with them. One, that I think would be fun for you, but two, I think vicariously for the rest of us, that might be really cool.
I think it would be. Now I would just have to figure out how to.
I know you only got 1,000 or so to go through.
No, here's the thing, though. Even though I run a podcast now. People, they would assume that, gee, he must be technically sound, and it wasn't quite the opposite.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I love your idea. I mean, that would be really neat. Who could probably, who's technically sound could probably do that? Tom Pena.
Okay.
Yeah, matter of fact, I got to write that down because that's a great suggestion. So take snippets.
I'll take 3 free beers for that.
Okay.
I don't drink beer, so hey.
And Tim Dodson says, "Good evening to all from Canada." All right.
It takes me a while to warm up, folks, but then I start, stepping all over everybody.
So what about here's a good. So what's all right, keeping us going. So like why and I just want folks to know is that this hasn't been like it's been an enjoyable, incredible journey these last 3.5 years doing this. Nothing. I mean, there are things that came out that I would have never imagined. More, the people I've met, like you guys and other folks that I don't think I would ever met if I had not done this show. Just the people, really just good people, I know for a fact that wouldn't have happened if I had not done this show, So that's been an incredible blessing. Educational. Like I've learned so much from doing this show on different systems. I became, like for a good example would be, I always heard about modern knees. Doesn't mean I knew much about it. And through this show, I really got a good exposure to it, among other things.
No, we don't know anything about it ourselves anyway. So
yeah. Like the just the inner workings and what made of the Dog Brothers from doing these shows like Dog Canada and what they have to do to get there. Like I would have never known that if I had not done these shows. So that was really interesting. More on KI, from doing the theme shows have really were incredibly educational. Like we did one on legality of legal carrying, and all that. That was really good. But again, meeting the people, getting exposed just to great people is been so incredibly rewarding. And the thing is, we've had to reinvent ourselves. We've gone through droughts, where on views and all that. So the quick bits, that's why we came up with that. So one of the things I pay attention to is basically views and what's resonating with the community, why we have it low, why. So the importance
do one of those.
Reinventing, and the quick bits kind of helped with that. And so Brian's cooking show, I think that's going to be another aspect. I think if Brian does that, I think people are going to really enjoy that. You know what I mean? Here he's cooking, he'll have a guest, obviously an FMA guest while he's doing a dish or whatever. I think that's kind of neat, or could be really positive depending on, how he goes about it. And so, but again, that whole aspect of constantly, we have to kind of reinvent the wheel, so to speak. You know what I mean? Reinvent. We have to keep looking at different ways to, get people to watch us and make it exciting and all that. And thus far, we've done a pretty good job of it. But that doesn't mean we stop here. So, and hopefully, I hope Tom. Obviously, I hope folks continue to support Tom. I mean, Tom's great, and Brian too. And I hope that the community supports them like they did me, and they keep going. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be doing nowhere, the interviews. I'm only be doing maybe perhaps 1 or 2 a month, but I'm still going to be doing the downloads, the quick bits. But people are definitely not going to visually see me. And I think that's good, to be honest. I think. And I'm okay with this. I think some people were probably sick of seeing Dean, and I understand that. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I understand it, and I think I think people need, see a new face for FMA discussion, and so be it.
So let's get in there. So of course, Renee says we should have a crazy hair day episode because I had a crazy hair day. Yeah, we got that one. Yeah. Let me see. Have you guys seen my keys? Okay, whatever. Would have taught without. Would you have taught at the 2 of his camps without FMA discussion? And,
so, Chad, that's a great question because
You would have been willing to, no doubt.
I would have been willing to, but
Would you have been
guys wouldn't
invited?
known me, Chad, you wouldn't have known me and know what the hell I'd offered. So that's another thing too. I'm going to be quite honest. Like, obviously, FMA Discussion has opened doors for me. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. That's something kind of came along with it. Now, was I knowing that back in the fall of 2019? Oh my God, this is going to open doors for me and all that. Hell no. You know what I mean? But some of the byproducts that have come from that have done that. People have gotten to see that I'm not just an interviewer, I actually do practice the arts and that. And so that's been nice. Kind of a side dish, I guess, so to speak. So much to Chad's question, but after I made Discussion, how would I know you met Chad? You know what I mean? So
Okay. Bah. Every time I took a look, every time I look at Dean, I want to use a bumblebee BB gun on myself. LOL. Just kidding. You know this guy well?
No.
I have no clue who he is. I don't know who he is. Chad Bailey, connection made.
Yeah.
Or like when instead of Ratatouille, call it Ratanatouille. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's bad. Well, I mean, the thing here is, listen, we you and I started talking. We started going back and forth on each other's shows. Then all of a sudden say, hey, why don't you join this thing? We're doing the FMA Invasion. Come on,
that's right, the FMA Invasion. Like, look, I would never have been part of FMA Invasion if I had not done this show.
Well, actually, what it boiled down to, hey, come out in this event. And then I came up with the idea. We did it, and now it's branded.
Yeah,
and
So and a big thanks to folks too. Big thanks to Datu. I mean, I don't care what people say. Datu gives people a lot of opportunity that maybe would not have had or be presented with. And Jack Latour speaks on this and all that. And isn't that what it's about? And Chad Bailey does the same thing. He gives people opportunity. And to me, folks like that should be recognized and should be, known for that and commended for that, because they give people opportunity and they invite people to camps and do stuff that normally maybe they wouldn't. To me, man, that, like, is there anything better than that? People like spraying that around and making people inclusive. I mean, think about what is better than that. And I'm going to tell you something. I mentioned some of the passive aggressiveness towards me. Mm-hmm. You know what? A lot of it's my own state, sadly.
Of course.
I'll leave it at that. That's
the way it works. Our backyard is much more scary than way far away.
Listen, I've said this time and time again. The difference between a martial artist and a master is 50 miles. It's funny because Rob Guida was on the show. He goes, "Hey, someone locally had RJ Marcado, which is a friend of mine."
Oh, Doug's brother, correct?
Doug's brother. We used to spar all the time. When Doug was still in the military, RJ used to come down. I was teaching him Powerhouse, so this is about 90, 91, 92. We would spar all the friggin' time. He competed in one of the tournaments I hosted. We had a freaking blast. So someone locally, they're like, they had RJ in, and they go, "Yeah, you did a solid job, but it's nothing you haven't taught me to. Matter of fact, you've taught me a lot more." And I go, "But I don't get why they don't have you in, because you're right here." I go, "Because I'm right here." I mean, listen, RJ doesn't do this as a profession. I travel the world. I've taught in 28 states. I've taught in 17 countries. This is what my profession is.
Yep.
And I know where I fit in the world, and I know I do a lot better than a lot of these people out there. But the thing here is, when you live in someone's backyard, there is that old school mindset that you're competition. And what they really don't understand, and please, if you're listening to this portion, this is probably the most important part I'm going to say about this. We are allies, not enemies. The enemies are bowling, rock climbing, volleyball, soccer, all these other activities that take people away from martial arts.
TV, Netflix.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I can see the Netflix thing. I get that. I've been binge watching stuff late at night, but I do it late at night and I just pay for it in the morning. But the thing here is this: we scare off more people because of this. Now, when it comes up, and Ty will tell you, I don't go out of my way talking smack about people. Yeah. someone puts themselves in my crosshairs, I respond on it. If I don't talk about people unless it's relevant to a conversation, I might share some personal information here, but in my school, in a seminar, you will not hear me say boo about that. I've bumped into people. We were in the Philippines. I bumped into someone who's not a big fan of me. One of their students came up, hey, oh, you studied with this guy? Yeah, nice. Hey, good guy. We all studied underneath Remy. And the same person made a point to talk and had a great conversation with Ty. And at the end, well, just because I don't get along with other people, it's good that we can get along. Why even bother going down that route? Why not just sit there? Hey, I really enjoyed the conversation. We should sit down and talk again. I've had other people sit there, at a Defense Lab conference, and someone saw the shirts that we were wearing, and they're like, hey, and we started talking about Modern East. Oh, I trained with so-and-so. And I'm like, hey, yep, that was one of my classmates underneath Remy. He knows his stuff. I don't have to tear someone up, Now I will sit there and say where someone is. There's some misinformation going on out there about certain people. And someone asked, was this one of Remy's top guys? No, he was an up-and-comer. But now he's probably one of the top guys in the Modern East field outside our organization. Now, but at the time, the person was only a first and second degree black belt. They didn't have time they weren't there yet, but they did their work since, and now they've become something bigger. So let's do this. Kurt, Love Jack's Global Carenza Project. Yep, that was a good one. Datu Tim, you're a class act. Oh, shit. Now I got to send another check out.
No.
Let me see here. If you're not supporting and uplifting those around you, what are you doing?
Nothing. Exactly.
Perfect.
Ended up having to walk to pick a pizza. I can't find my keys. And okay. All right. So have we discussed the future? Is there another part you wanted to share that you didn't already, or have you pretty much talked about that?
Yeah, no, just as far as the future, I mean, it's going to be where,
well, let me ask you. I think you've discussed FMA Discussion's future.
Yeah, what about yours?
What's Dean's future?
Right.
Oh, okay.
With the stuff that you're willing or able to talk to, because I know some projects are on
FMA Discussion. I've been so focused on FMA Discussion for the last 3.5 years. What about Dean? So my good question. One is to continue to, I'm turning 58 this year, and
me too. Oh my God, all three of us.
Yep.
Yeah, and my body is starting to, I've had multiple knee operations, left hip replaced, and I went to beat the crap out of cancer. It was wonderful, fun. But my knee, the swelling just started going down today. So what I'm alluding to is I probably got a few more good years to really push limits or what have you, or just have fun with mixing up with the guys. Some of those guys are monsters, man. So I want to focus on that while I still can do it. I want to focus on my own journey, being the best version of me, as always, giving the best to my students and the community. When I go to a camp, for instance, giving my best, you know what I mean? So I want to focus on that where I'm not just, whereas before, I think there were times I've distracted. So I want to eliminate those distractions there.
Gotcha.
So that, as far as that being my goals for the, my martial arts, also to really give the best to my kids who are now really showing and demonstrating an interest,
Nice.
There. Those two right there, obviously my kids, being the most important, and helping when I can with the channel, you know what I mean? But without being at it full time, advise, help, support, suggest, show my face now and then. But nowhere obviously to the capacity I was, which we've already established. So that's pretty much it for future goals. Stay healthy, do this before I start getting body part replacements.
Yeah, hey, listen, now listen, everybody. Here's what I want to say. First of all, support the show. Dean is going to be doing behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that he's not part of it anymore, But he just mentioned all the things. This is not his profession. His job is his family.
Mhm.
Okay, and a lot of people don't get that. I remember during the FMA talk and Marshall Talk wars, we just got done doing a camp, and someone saying, "Well, why don't you respond to this? Your camp's over." How about I need time to myself, and I want to spend time with Janice, and I do this. And you know what? This is not my job. You don't like it? Call me on the phone if it's so damn important. And the thing here is, you do your best. If people want to make sure things go right, get involved.
Mhm.
Once again, the people are involved in the show. So let's talk about this here. Okay, honestly, Tim and I haven't said it to you before, but I think it's time I did. Dean and Ty are my favorite, and you're the 40th. Okay, fine.
You're tied for 40th.
All right. So there was that meeting moment. Okay, Dog Brother Dean.
Man, it was.
You'd have to do an international event. They don't like that. Okay, you don't. One balut a day keeps the doctor away.
There's a great guy, man. Richard Packman.
Here, his wife Tracy deserves praise for allowing Guru Dean all the time.
You know what, man? That is, Brian, that is so true. What she has put up, tolerated. Yeah.
Well, listen, I can understand. Not only do I deal with martial art politics, but when I had FMA Talk, the discussion group, and Martial Talk was out there, it was a whole another multiple influences of negativity. It was when it worked great. She's been ultra supportive.
Unbelievably that, but at the same time, she is also very happy that I am reducing my role. She understands I can't just completely leave, but during that tenure from late October 2019 to present day, unbelievably supportive, and there were, sacrifices.
Listen, if for those who have significant others in their lives, and you're doing whatever you're doing, for those who listen to this, and they're supporting you, do not look at that gift horse in the mouth. The thing here is, everything like this that happens takes time away from them, and they're doing that because they care for you. And if you don't show gratitude, that'll bite you in the ass later down the road.
And tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so get on that.
VD Day, baby, VD Day, and penicillin's not
definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And because somebody was asking me, "Oh, can you do this tomorrow night?" And I almost completely forgot. I was such in that mindset, and I'm like, "Wait, breaks." Hey, much to absolutely, Richard Packman. Shout out to Richard Packman, man. He's in the, he's in the armed forces, our country, and all that. So great guy. Back to Renee, Dog Brother D. Renee. Renee will get a kick out of this. Freaking Defender Dog is a monster, man. Just tough guys, man. Chi Dog, it's even better when you have a wife for support. Yeah, you can argue that.
Ty's got a wife that trains. My wife trains.
Oh, did they really? Oh, that's fantastic.
Mine's a 6th-degree black belt.
Oh, I had no idea. How about you? And Ty, yours trains too? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, more on the Kung Fu side. But yeah, she joins us periodically for the weekend workouts.
Hey, Ty, somebody brought up, I was talking to Tom from Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking about that you guys get together and do stuff because he was saying, hey, we'll come down there, do FMA discussion on the road down there, and we'll get together, all of us and all that. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I have 2 day-long events where multiple styles play in the park twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah, next one will be in April sometime. I haven't picked it yet because I'm a slacker.
Yeah. All right, then we'll have to. And also, I got folks that are still watching or whatever. I think you guys are gonna be pretty excited. Hopefully, what comes down the line with me and Datu, I think you guys are gonna enjoy this.
It's not an OnlyFans, is it?
What's that?
Okay, he found out.
That was for pizza.
Our fans only, the FMA fans only page we were working on. Damn you! That's the problem when you do a show with a super genius.
It's just to see when people are paying attention who lasted this long.
Okay, my wife and I are spending Valentine's Day teaching the kids class. Same here. Absolutely. If you can
Even
get that,
better.
FMA is better. So right now, so here I'm lucky. So the 11th is mine's birthday. So Saturday was the birthday. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. This weekend is our anniversary. So we're going away for our anniversary.
So in other words, an expensive week.
All three. Yeah, well, it's basically we always do all of it together.
Yeah.
So I'm actually sitting on a Doce Paras board for a couple hours, and then we're gonna go and do things. So
Traitor.
And anybody that says no, Janice is great, and she's the person. If you didn't talk to Tim when you called the place, it's her, and she's just super great and professional.
the organization wouldn't be what it is
Wow.
today without her help.
That's awesome.
You know, and the thing here is like, so I had Ryan teaching tonight. So so he's 19. He started with Janice at 4 years old, and a good chunk of my adult black belts started with Janice when they were 3.5 and 4 years old.
Mhm.
So FMA discussion is family affair. Yep,
Family affair.
I'll get involved with shit and drag my kids in. There we go. So all right. So do you got any events coming up?
Yes, I'm actually, Brian's flying me out to New Mexico at the end of the month. And then March, I have an online seminar next weekend with Sir Brandon Ricketts. Brian's flying me out to New Mexico end of February. March, I got one seminar. April, of course, I got something the first week in April, and then the third week in April is when we're all getting together, correct? Right? The third weekend?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And
In a new location.
their new location, yeah. And then there's something in May, June, and I lost track after that. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, definitely. Do you have a website or anything for you at the Dean Franco? Or?
No, and it's funny because more and more people are asking me that teach, and they say, hey, well, build your system again and all that. And there's another reason too I forgot to mention as far as what I'm going to dedicate some time to. And the website I've definitely thought about doing, but I really want to kick our thing off before it, because then I'm going to get sidetracked.
Yeah,
Like,
I hear you.
Yeah,
yeah, no, definitely. So, and we'll talk about that later. So, listen, Dean, let us know when you want to guest on the show, because we'd love to have you on there.
Why? Yeah.
Brian, should get that Viagra ready for its VD day, guys. I was walking back to my dojo. A car almost hit me. They must know me. I must most likely.
It wasn't Tim paying anybody, I promise.
Dean, make a site only rattan. There we go. Only
rattans.
Okay, listen. So, Dean, thanks for having you on. We're going to wrap up something great here. But listen, everybody, I want you to understand this. This is a celebration. Dean is going to be working on a whole bunch of things, and more importantly, show how much he loves his family. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not his job, and even if it was his job, you guys don't pay him enough. So, so here's the deal. Support the show. There's other people going to be doing interviews. Continue to if you want to be you're either part of the problem or the solution. If you think there's room for improvement on the show, then send information in and give them intel. Same thing with this show.
We love constructive criticism. Please do. If you got better suggestions of how things can be done better, by all means, do that. Yeah, we're not. Absolutely.
So, I mean, while we're on the show, I secured another guest, Mr. Basti from the Basti. Errol is going to be on the show in next month.
Errol's coming on.
Yeah.
Errol's. Oh, yeah. You'll be glad to have him. Yeah. Hopefully, and we're going to be doing something together. Actually, me, Errol, Sachi.
Okay.
Good guy.
We were talking about me going down to their club sometime, but there's a lot of stuff going on at the time.
Also, so for Thursday, so folks that are watching Thursday night's episode, I'm banging. Is this the
finale?
This Thursday night, 8:30.
Is that the finale of the Modern Ernie series?
I don't know if it's the finale. I did want to get Datu on Warden, but you'll see. But so yeah, so this Thursday, folks, if it's going to be Thursday night, it's going to be the future of modern Nice. I'm sure we'll segue into the future of FMA overall, but it's going to be the guests are going to be Chris Chu, Datu, and Noah King. So two younger guys with Datu who trained in modern Nice, and we're going to hear from them how to perpetuate that art, but also FMA in general. Because as you guys have heard us many times, whether myself or Datu or Ty, if we don't get the younger generation going, some of these systems will die out.
And we're going to talk about, and you guys both know you got to listen, because I'm going to talk about an event that happened this weekend that could have significantly changed the future trajectory of my organization. The thing I sent you the photo on today there, Ty. But I don't want to ruin the show. Actually, if this is a teaser, definitely watch the show. It's going to be at 8:30 on watch Dean Franco's Facebook page, or watch the rebroadcast the day later.
Yeah, it'll be posted and advertised in FMA discussions. Yeah, so I'm just going to need I'm sure I probably still have your pick. If I don't, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
Chris should be sending me something, and I'm going to message Noah to send me a pic.
Okay, so here we go. Thank Jerry Dozer. Thank you all for great things you guys do. Eric, much happiness to all of you. Dean Franco, meme hour. That's what Renee says, the meme hour. And then already working on the documentary Rebirth of Dean Franco, coming soon to a theater near you. If there's going to be theaters left, it'll be streaming. You can binge watch the whole show. My mom just called me and she asked me why I moved. Okay. Turns out I was driving, or she was driving. Okay. Noah King. My name.
That was Noah.
Cool. I didn't know he was here.
I don't need you to send you the message. So Noah, I'm going to need a profile pic for Thursday at 8:30, and also what works when. Actually, you know what? Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so let's scratch that. So we're basically, I got you guys on here. What works for test run on Wednesday?
I may not be able to be on the test run, but that's okay. You don't want you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I already know how to do this, so
so it's really actually it'd be really.
Well, I'm going with,
Remember, it's not StreamYard, so.
Oh, good point. Good point. Good point.
We gotta help you with that.
Yeah.
So test run Noah and Chris.
Got a picture. I'll try, but I'm just I have a rubber
worries.
chicken for you, Dean. Okay, all right.
And
then night gents, great seeing you all again, and you as well, Tim. And then there's Paulo. Hey, dude.
Renee.
Hey, Paulo, were you watching the whole time, or you just logged in? Because we're logging out.
Of course.
All right, so I'm gonna need. All right, I can just do the test run with Noah and Chris. I mean, you've been on. You know how to get on.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Really, I could just do it with them tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, you know what?
Okay.
If you can, send me a pic. Maybe perhaps there's a one that you want me to use a different one, or
oh, you mean me?
Yeah, profile pic.
All right, I'll send you another. Give me okay. So here we're going to sign off. We're going to sign you off, and then we're going to.
Okay. Hey, I really appreciate you guys.
Thanks for visiting, Dean.
No, I really appreciate you guys. Everything you guys do. I really appreciate the support you guys have given me in the channel, and continue to do so. And most of all, thanks for having me on. Thanks for just being you guys and who you are. And I will physically see you guys in April.
Okay, and then so Noah says tomorrow night works for me, and thanks, gents. All right, so we're gonna chime you out, but stay on for the debrief.
I will be in the background.
All right, yes, you will. There we go. Boom, there he goes, and you can hear everything we say. This is the down part about this, but good show.
Yeah, he's so pleasant to visit with.
Yeah, next week we're gonna have.
He's got a mission.
Yes. So next week we're gonna have Vulpus training blades on. They've got some new innovations, so we want to just see where they are a year later. It may not be an exact year, but the year. And then the week after, we're going to talk about one of two. What's in a name? Renaming, rebranding, and art. Why should we do it? Why shouldn't we do it? Another one is it stupid to do stick fighting for self-defense? Okay, so let me see. would Datu be willing and able to talk about the belt system of FMA? Okay, I'll wrap it up right now. There is no such thing.
Of
The
FMA,
belt, no. So
Plus, you did a show on
what
our
does each belt mean? The belt is about 2 inches of cloth that covers nothing of your body except for 2 inches of it. It's absolutely nothing. It meaningless. But how you got it means everything. So to me, a belt is everything and nothing. But generally speaking, Matt, I'll tell you the story right now, real quick. Modern Filipino martial arts were dying in the Philippines. Remy Price is the one that was probably the most influential in saving it. Karate was tearing it up after World War II because it was too physical to do Filipino martial arts because you were getting hit with live weapons and people weren't able to work afterwards. So Remy looked to see what karate had that we didn't, or what FMA didn't have. He said, oh, they have a uniform. So he created a uniform. They have katas. We did katas. And they've got a belting system. So we did that. So really it means very, very little. This is not an entrenched thing. We've done shows on this already, what the belts are in our system and the titles. But at the end of the day, and I think someone recently talked about it, all these titles, belts, and everything are foreign to Filipino martial arts. It was brought in via Japanese martial arts because it was good for organizing. And before people say, well, Americans did all this stuff with belts. No, the Japanese had it. Right. We just took our crayons and colored in the belts because there was 7 or 9 white belts out there. Holy crap, that's amazing. Congrats to your wives. Okay.
Well, so the other thing is that on the belts, I just like to always reiterate it. On top of it meaning nothing inherently except for what you put into it, it also, as far as they're usually some sort of ranking, that's only important within the organization or the style or the context within which it's applied. Other than that, who knows?
Yeah, then of course in pro wrestling, they go after belts, but no one wears pants. Okay, there we go. All right. There you go. So that was a good one. That was good. We'll keep that comment. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't get too twisted about this whole thing. But I think it was a good thing that Remy did to help. And a lot of systems in the Philippines followed his mindset. And a lot of systems that are being taught out there are derivatives of modernity. They learn modern in the school systems and they built off of it. Mm-hmm. But that's another topic. So this weekend, I'm in Glenbury, Maryland. I am on my wedding anniversary, but I am doing some martial art things too. So if you do want to say hello, just shout out to me directly. And then the weekend after that, I am in St. Mary's, PA, over at Silver Dragon Martial Arts with Tuhan Brock. Yep. The weekend after that, I'm up in not Toronto. I'm up in no. The weekend after that, I'm in Canada, Cambridge, March 4th, teaching up there. Got a weekend off. Then Carl's, yep. And then the weekend of the 17th through the 19th, I'm teaching our Florida camp. Then I'm at Elite Conference. Then April 1st, I'm in Ohio. So, and it's not an April Fool's Day. The April Fool's is I'm actually coming. So, what do you got next?
Nothing for a few weeks.
Did you secure it yet?
No, but I got 2 openings. I just got to do one last check with Chad, and then I can pull the trigger.
So, what we're talking about is Ty does the spring thing. Spring
FMA thing, yes. And I was going to do it on tax day because then it'd be a tax. Our niece attacks. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that was bad.
But anyway, no, it's probably a different weekend, and obviously it's not the weekend we're in New Hampshire because that doesn't work out real well.
Yeah. So okay, well, that's what we got going on. Like I said, next week is Vulpes. Week after, What's in a Name, and March we've got Datu Kelly Warden coming on board. That'll be fun. Ohio, how far is that from Metro Detroit? I'm going to be 45 minutes north of Columbus. It's in Mount Gilead, which is spelled Gill-led. But that's where I'm going to be. So it's I don't know how many hours it is from there. So you have to check. You can Google Maps that. So, all right. Well, listen, I'm going to end the show here. Ty, always a pleasure. I love doing the show with you.
Oh, thank you. No, it's enjoyable.
looking forward to even if I am part of the show.
even if you're not my 40th, you're my like 38th.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
So definitely looking forward to other things and 3.5-ish. Okay.
Oh, 3.5
Okay.
months. Okay.
Yeah, that's what that count was.
That's,
All right.
That's a chunk, but not too bad.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Listen, it's always a pleasure. This is Dr. Tim.
PG Tye. Take care.
Stay safe and see you all soon.